Welcome to Muscles and Magic Gathering. First things first, my name is Bobby Maximus. Let me introduce myself. I am the Muscles. These cards, Magic the Gathering, I've been playing since 1994. I started in Unlimited. I've been playing for over 3 decades. I am a true, bona fide OG Magic the Gathering player. And I'm really excited today because we are going to feature one of the funnest builds I've ever done based on Maha, Its Feathers Knight. That is my commander. And why am I so excited about this? Why was it one of the funnest builds that I've ever done? Because it allowed me to feature all kinds of cards that I couldn't include in other commander decks. You see, Maha has a unique ability, a unique mechanic, if you will, and it was the gateway for all these cards that I've wanted to showcase for years now. And that's the thing with my commander decks. I've got 57 total commander decks right now at the time I am filming this video. Now, by the time it launches, by the time this is up on YouTube, maybe I have 58, maybe I have 59. I am on the quest for 100 full, complete commander decks. So what do I mean by that? 100 decks that exist and breathe and live in real time. I don't transfer cards between decks. I don't use proxies. I don't use graphics on the screen like some other creators. This is the most real Magic the Gathering content you will ever see. And my goal with these 100 decks is to feature all kinds of different mechanics and different groups within Magic the Gathering. Vampires, goblins, elves, crabs, dragons, 1/1 counters, energy, all the things, right? But 2, I really, really, really want to showcase my collection, and I want it to be a place where you can come to my house, you can grab a deck, and you can play. Again, they exist in real time. So all that said, I know you are excited to get to Maha. If you want to build a Maha deck, this is the video for you. If you like mono black decks, this is the video for you. If you like cards that are unique that you haven't seen featured in commander decks, this is the video for you. So let's get started. First of all, the deck, commander. Maha, Its Feathers Knight from Bloom Barrel, one of my favorite sets of all time. Special place in my heart. Flying, trample, ward, discard a card, and creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1. This is one of those kill on sight commanders. You get this on the battlefield, people have to get it off. So be prepared. If you build a Maha deck, you will be a target. Now, for the Maha deck, we've got a couple of planeswalkers. First, we got Luca, the Traveling Sound. And I was actually just looking up the value of this card, because when I build commander decks, I also build them with collectability in mind as well. I'm not just about winning. Like, I want to sit at the table and play with my friends and enjoy some wonderful conversations, spend time with some like-minded people, right? It's not all about winning. I also want to showcase really, really cool cards, and I love these Secret Lair cards. It's actually Liliana of the Dark Realms. The +1 ability, search your library for a swamp card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. The -3 ability, target creature gets +X/+X or -X/-X until the end of turn, where X is the number of swamps you control. And the final ability, you get an emblem of swamps you control, tap, and add 4 mana. Liliana of the Veil, one of the most powerful planeswalkers ever. +1, each player discards a card. -2, target player sacrifices a creature. The -6 ability, separate all permanents target player controls into 2 piles. That player sacrifices all permanents in the pile of their choice. Now on to creatures. And the first one up is an auto include in any black deck you're going to build, or really any aristocrat deck, because it'll fit in there. Cryptghast, it's got Extort, and whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add an additional mana. So a great way to mana rent. Now here's the deal. There are 3 keys to building a good commander deck. There's actually a 4th, which I'll talk about at the end of the video, so stay tuned. But the big 3, card draw, mana ramp, and tutoring. This helps with mana ramp, and black doesn't have a lot of mana ramp, so this really, really helps. One of the greatest black cards ever, Sheoldred, the Apocalypse, Death Touch. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. Check this one out. Nasty card, Tergrid, the God of Fright. Menace, and whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put that card from the graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Tergrid's a monster. It is a game changer, and it's got another side should you want to use it. Tergrid's Lantern. Target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land, permanent, or discard a card, and you can untap Tergrid's Lantern. Tiny Bones, the Trinket Thief. At the beginning of each end step, if an opponent discarded a card this turn, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. 6 mana, each opponent with no cards in his hand loses 10 life. One of the reasons I added this is because I wanted some low casting cost creatures in it to drive the mana value of the deck later. I talked about that 4th key to a good commander deck. You want to have a low overall mana value. I'll explain all the ins and outs about mana value towards the end of the video when we go over the metadata of the video. But Tiny Bones Trinket Thief made the cut. It's a really, really good low casting cost card. Boggart Trawler. When Boggart Trawler enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard, little graveyard hate, and the other side of it is a land. Dark Confident, I feel like it's fallen out of favor the last couple of years. It's been reprinted a ton, so the value is cheap, but it is an insane card for card draw advantage. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card onto your hand. You lose life equal to its mana value. Card draw is everything. This helps, and again, it satisfies that need for some lower casting cost black creatures. Now, when I was talking about the higher casting cost creatures that feature the mechanics of this deck, Archfiend of Ifnir. Flying, and whenever you cycle or discard another card, put a -1/1 counter on each creature your opponent controls. With this, it's going to be a board wipe, all right? Great card. It's also got cycling, but a high casting cost. The Harvester of Misery. When Harvester of Misery enters the battlefield, other creatures get -2/2 until the end of turn. With this, it's going to board wipe your entire opponent. If you discard Harvester of Misery, target creature gets -2/2 until the end of turn. Skithiryx, the Blight Dragon. In fact, this creature deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/1 counters and to players in the form of poison counters. It's got regenerate. You can give it haste. Massacre Girl. Menace. When Massacre Girl enters the battlefield, each other creature gets -1/1 until the end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/1 until the end of turn. The Ascendant Ifnir, and we are definitely, I almost couldn't say that, we are definitely into the meat and potatoes of the Maha deck right now. Other black creatures get +1/+1. Non-black creatures get -1/-1. In a mono-black deck, this is all good for me, all bad for you. The Midnight Banshee, Wither. This deals damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 counters. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on each non-black creature. Great for me, bad for you. Gisa, the Glorious Resurrector. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. At the beginning of your upkeep, put all creature cards exiled with Gisa, Glorious Resurrector onto the battlefield under your control. Great for me. The Blood Artist. Whenever Blood Artist or another creature dies, target player loses a life and you gain a life. Great in this deck. You're going to have a lot of creatures die if you play against me. The Morbid Opportunist. Whenever one or more other creatures die, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn. Sheoldred, the Whispering One. Swamp Walk. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. And actually, this card is getting cut today. We'll deal with that at the end. Hang on to your horses. Bobby, why are you cutting this? That's insane. I actually have a better card for this deck. New in today. Karvik, the Spiteful. Other creatures get -1/-1. This was one of those ones I wanted to feature and included this deck. Massacre Girl makes a massive appearance in this deck because of her ability. Menace, creatures you control have Wither, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if it's stuck, this was less than 1, draw a card. We have the Massacre Wurm. When it enters, creatures your opponents control get -2/-2 until the end of the turn. You see a theme here. If this is on the battlefield, you are going to have a completely empty board for the rest of the game. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, that player loses 2 life. Auto-include in a mono-black deck. When Grey Merchant of Asphodel enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. Phyllis, the Broker of Blood. Flying. Pay 2 life, target creature gets -1/-1 until the end of the turn. And whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. Incredible, incredible card in this deck. A way to get rid of other people's creatures and get some massive card draw. The splitting Dilophosaurus, one of those Jurassic Park cards, when it enters the battlefield or attacks, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Creatures your opponents control with -1/-1 counters on them cannot block. Yawgmoth, the Thran Physician, great card. Protection from humans. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature and draw a card. You can also discard a card and proliferate. Doffy Voidwalker, Shadow. And if a card would be put, actually, let's back up because you don't see Shadow that much. This creature can block or be blocked only by creatures with Shadow. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere and said exile with a void counter on it, sacrifice Doffy Voidwalker, choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. You may pay it this turn without paying its mana cost. Orcish Bowmaster is one of the best cards ever. Flash. When Orcish Bowmaster enters the battlefield and whenever an opponent draws a card, except the first one they draw at each of their draw steps, Orcish Bowmaster deals 1 damage to any target that amass Orcs 1. And now, I'm looking up the value of this because I want to talk about it for a minute. It's only worth $5, and this is the foil version. Super underrated card, super powerful. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, its controller may pay 1 life. If they do, they draw a card. If you pay 7 mana, discard X cards, exile the top X cards to target opponent's library. You may play lands and cast spells from below cards exiled this way without paying their mana costs. Great. Now, Bobby, what are we going to put in for Sheoldred? Hold your horses. Wait till the end of the video. Let's talk sorceries. Tutors. Insatiable Avarice, one of the best budget tutors there is. I've told you this before. I'm saying it again. Tutors are a massive, massive, massive part of winning a Commander game. And this has spree. You can either go get a card or you can draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. I say you can. Says target player. It's always going to be you. Yawgmoth's Will. Great card. Incredible card. Should be a game changer. Until end of turn, you may play cards in your graveyard as though they were in your hand. Cards put into your graveyard this turn are removed for the game instead. Reanimate. Great card again. Fabulous card. Put target creature card from any graveyard into play under your control. Lose life equal to that creature's casting cost. Buried Alive. Search your library for up to 3 creature cards. Put them into your graveyard, then shuffle. Mind Twist. Old school card. Opponent must discard X cards at random from the hand. If opponent doesn't have enough cards at hand, the entire hand is discarded. Fatal Push. Destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less. Revolt. Destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less. Instead, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn. Nausea. One of those cards I wanted to include. All creatures get -1/-1 until the end of turn. Thoughtseize allows you to see an opponent's hand and get rid of a card from it. Massive advantage in a game of strategy like Commander. Damnation, nothing like a good board wipe. Destroy all creatures that can't be regenerated. 2, let's put some stuff into our graveyard because we have a bunch of ways to get stuff back from the graveyard with this deck. Hymn to Turek. Target player discards 2 cards at random from his or her hand. If target player does not have enough cards, his or her entire hand is discarded. We have a Sinkhole. Destroy target land. We have a Snuff Out. If you control a swamp, you may pay 4 life instead of paying Snuff Out's mana cost. Destroy target non-black creature. It can't be regenerated, and it's just in. Sheoldred's got to stay. We need this to get stuff back from our graveyard. So Sheoldred, you are staying in the deck. I'm not going to be crazy and take you out. Cower and Fear. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until the end of turn. One of the Holy Trinities of tutors, the Vampiric Tutor. You know what it does. It's an incredible card. Demonic Tutor, another insane tutor here. This one's actually worth $100, this version of it. You may search your library for 1 card and take it into your hand. Reshuffle your library afterwards. Make Obsolete. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until the end of turn. Again, taking advantage of Maha. This is one of those decks that's honestly just truly 100% built around the commander. Choose one, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 till the end of the turn. Toxic Deluge, one of the best board wipes you can get and works amazing in this deck. There's an additional cast cost of spell, pay X life. All creatures get -X/-X till the end of the turn. Neutralize the guard. Creature target opponent controls get -1/-1 till the end of turn. Surveil 2. Torment of Hailfire. Repeat the following process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life, unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. And Dark Ritual, one of the greatest mana ramp cards of all time. Don't sleep on it. Here we go with Necropotence. Another great card. And I'm just looking at the metadata of this deck. We currently have 5 game changers in this deck. We got Necropotence, we got the 2 tutors, we got Tergrid, we got Orcish Bowmasters. Necropotence, skip your draw step. Whenever you draw a card, or whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard, pay 1 life, exile the top card of your library face down, put that card into your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Phyrexian Reclamation, pay 2 life, return target creature card from the graveyard to your hand. The Meat Hook Massacre, when it enters, each creature gets -X/-X until the end of turn. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever a creature an opponent controls, you gain 1 life. Old school card that I love. Pestilence. Do 1 damage to each creature and to both players. If there are no creatures in play at the end of turn, Pestilence must be discarded. Great card. Phyrexian Arena, great for card draw. Kind of like the Dark Confidant. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card and lose a life. And the Knight of Souls Betrayal. When's the last time you saw that played in the deck? All creatures get -1/-1. We have got some artifacts. We got Lightning Greaves. We have to protect this commander at all costs. Swiftfoot Boots. Again, we have to protect this commander at all costs. Greatest mana ramp card of all time. Sensei's Divining Top. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. If you tap it, draw a card, then put Sensei's Divining Top on top of its owner's library. And we have a Scroll Rack. Love the Scroll Rack. Exile any number of cards from your hand face down. Put that many cards from the top of your library into your hand. Look at the exiled cards. Put them on top of your library in any order. There we go. What a beautiful deck so far. We got a bunch of basic lands. I'm just going to show off a few of them here that I like. Love that land. Oh, love that one from Infinity. Look at that one. Beautiful. Anyway, I like to feature, these are some of my favorite lands of all time, the Kamigawa ones. Love to feature really cool basics in my decks when I can. Then we have the non-basic lands. We have a Phyrexian Tower. Add a mana, sacrifice a creature, add 2 mana. We have Takenuma, Abandoned Mire. It's got Channel. Discard Takenuma, Abandoned Mire, mill 3 cards, and return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary you control. The Black Gate. As the Black Gate enters the battlefield, you may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters tapped. Choose a player with the most life or tied for the most life. Target creature can't be blocked by creatures that player controls this turn. Castle Locthwain. It enters tapped unless you control a swamp, and it allows you to draw a card. Then you lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. The Crypt of Agadim. Crypt of Agadim enters the battlefield tapped. You add a black mana, and then you can add a black mana to your mana pool for each black creature card in your graveyard. And the Cabal Copper is another great way to mana ramp in a mono black deck. And that, fast and furious, that might be one of my shortest videos ever. Maha, it's Feathers Knight, but there's not a lot of tricks in this deck. Like, honestly, it's really, really straightforward. You just build around Maha's ability. And I have a bunch of these cards that reduce your creatures -1/-1. And because this card makes your creatures have a base toughness 1, you're never going to have anything on the board. Now, a couple things to talk about with this deck. I actually want to make a couple of changes. I'm going to take out Snuff Out. I really, really like the card, but I need it. So I'm taking it out. And I have a better card in mind. I'm always looking to upgrade my cards and lower the mana cost. I am going to put in one of the heavy hitters from Final Fantasy, Sephiroth, all right? Couple of reasons I'm doing this, and I want to talk about this right now for the people that know how I build decks, or people that want to know how I build decks. Let me just get Sephiroth in here. Wow, the value of the deck just went up $44 because that's the foil version. Nice. All right. When I build decks, I build them with a couple of things in mind. One, I want to get to 100 decks, obviously. Two, I want to feature unique mechanics. Three, collectability. I'm not leaving this in a commons box. I'm not leaving this on the shelf. I'm not leaving this in my bulk. I'm not leaving this in a binder. Wherever you want to put it, whatever you want to do with it, I'm not selling it. This card is a heavy hitter. It's super collectible. I love Final Fantasy. It's going to go in this deck. And arguably, it's a better card than Snuff Out. All right? So it's upgraded the deck in collectability. It's upgraded the deck in playability. I need more creatures in here, so a lot of creatures are going to die. And it allows me to use Snuff Out for my Sephiroth deck, which I am building. Okay? Next up, I do want to make one more change. And I really want to put this Gate to Phyrexia I found in here. I want to take something out, but I want to take something out that does not affect the integrity of my deck. And I think what I want to take out is these Liliana the Veils are just too powerful. Man, this is tough. I don't want to take out Cowering Fear. It's only a 10-cent card, but it has that -1/-1 feature. You know, it might be the Scroll Rack. It's a great card, but this Gate to Phyrexia might fit a little better, and I could put the Scroll Rack in my other deck. Doesn't help me with value. I do have a lot of lands here, 37. I could probably cut one for the Gate of Phyrexia. You see, this is where it gets really, really hard, to tell you the truth, in cutting your friends. It's really hard. I wanted to take out Sheoldred, but I realized I have a lot of stuff that sends stuff to my graveyard, and I want a way to get it back. You know what? We're going to hold off on that. Here's the deal. The deck list will be in the show notes. Oh, I promised you mana value, and I promised you metadata on the deck. The bracket 4, 5 game changers, 5 tutor cards, no banned cards, although I play with banned cards a lot. The total mana value of the deck is 189 right now. Now, one of the things that I always talk about is the total mana value. The mana value of Maha's Feather's Knight is 5. The total mana value of Sephiroth is 3. That means the total mana value of these two cards is 8. You got all the symbols up in the decks together. That's total mana value of the deck. If your deck is under 200, it's going to move fairly fast and be fairly competitive. That said, the most competitive decks, like we're talking CEDH win on turn 2 or 3, they're like 145, 148, 152. I've seen them in the 130s where people have every 0-drop artifact ever. Fast and furious. You got to remember, in a game of Commander, the late games like game 7 and 8. So I want to keep the mana value of the deck low. So the mana value of this deck is 189. If you want to make one change to your deck, if you want to improve it, that's one of the reasons I was going to take that out. You can't have too many 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 casting cost things in your deck. You got to get that mana value down. So I'm always looking at ways to add cards like the Deadly Dispute, which is a mana value of 2, or Gates to Phyrexia, mana value 2, to bring down the mana value of the deck, get it working faster, and put in usable things. And listen, you don't just want to put stuff in because it has a low mana value, but it's one of the reasons why there are low mana value cards that are really, really expensive, like the Ranger Captain of Eos, like the Esper Sentinel, like the banned, unfairly banned and discriminated against Hull Breacher or Dockside Extortionist, because Power Crate, they just work really, really well when you can get them out on turn 1 or 2. So there you have it. A little bit of an extra education on Magic the Gathering and how to play Commander. We talked about Maha, it's Feather's Knight. Super straightforward build because it's all those -1/-1 abilities, and an absolute blast to build. Listen, if there's any cards I missed that you want to add to this, put it in the comments. I will make the change. I think I get every -1/-1 card ever, but I might have missed one, and I would love your help. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Muscles and Magic the Gathering, and we'll see you for the next one. By the way, there are a million of these things on my channel right now.